guys, Lonely Family 4 here, and if you want to know onto why I did not upload my reaction on his Elimination 2020 sins, is because, well, the audio of that video wasn't working, so I had to actually scrap that reaction and decide to wait until next week, which is this one, to do another reaction from him. The thing is that sometimes the audio does work, but at the same time, whenever I do something randomly that is something I don't usually do, ever do these recordings, the audio just doesn't work. So this is really the first time I'm going to be reacting to his Sins videos after he was taking a long break of just trying to recover during this whole pandemic and stuff like that, and the fact that he finished making that movie last March of this year. So anyway, this is everything wrong with WrestleMania 36 Part 1. With it being the first pay-per-view behind closed doors, I honestly think that it could have been much more better if it actually happened at a stadium, but due to the pandemic, a lot has changed. Believe me when I say this, that if this was actually on a stadium, I think that none of these changes would have never happened. But considering that, well, dealing with this pandemic that's still going on after 3 or 4 months, we really don't have much of a choice. So, I am really looking forward to what he actually thinks about WrestleMania, and it's actually the final WrestleMania and WWE event that Undertaker had wrestle. Hopefully. But anyway, let's begin. Oh, a moving background. Haven't had those in a while.
You'd think that for an event with absolutely no one in attendance, where the electricity was almost completely gone, I'd give a lot of sins. However, I'm actually doing this instead. I'm removing 20 sins right off the bat for the WWE doing everything in their power to entertain the concerned and frightened people around the world in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic. Sacrificing their own risks of getting infected just to entertain fans and take their mind off this deserves the praise. But
yeah.
Fine, I'll place one sin because there's no audience. Now we can focus on the events at hand.
Okay.
Provide you with a diversion during these hard times.
Gotta give props to Stephanie McMahon for being as professional as can be to kick off WrestleMania.
Oh, this is actually kind of something I do not understand why
Can't
they
get someone
do.
to sing America the Beautiful tonight due to the circumstances. Playing a compilation of some of the best performances over the years is a great idea.
I didn't think it was a good thing.
Winner of WrestleMania 36 to bring you Pirates of the Caribbean.
It just feels awkward to see this since that it's all taking place
really
in the Performance Center, which is
Orlando,
Orlando,
another shot
Florida.
at WrestleMania once this whole thing blows over. Also, literally 6 freaking minutes of an opening
And
intro.
you're gonna say the same thing in the next video.
When you can't get Christian Miracle to interrupt the opening promo and start spewing sins throughout due to the circumstances, having some random guy do it instead is a bad idea. Goddamn Rob Gronkowski.
I actually kind of found the
Let's be
promo
thankful
good.
there's no audience if this is the case.
This party's too big for just one night.
Let's be fair, the only reason this event has been split into 2 nights is because no one would be able to handle 5.5 hours of a WrestleMania.
Yeah, that actually kind of makes sense. I mean, I was mostly against the idea, but now I can get the point.
Okay, I get that all shows had to be either postponed or have no audience, but why can't we have the WWE Hall of Fame induction ceremony take place in some way? After all, 100% of the show is the legends talking on a podium.
Yeah,
with the right social distancing measures. Just because
the pandemic is going on doesn't mean you need an audience. Sure, they would give them a history lesson, but still.
Bliss and Nikki Cross lost the women's tag team titles to the Kabuki Warriors, and only now are they asking for them back? Must be pretty awkward for the referee to be raising the titles to an empty wall.
Yeah.
What is your focus? How do you learn to put your opponent away?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe the same way wrestlers put their opponents away all the other times they compete in matches. Duh. Asuka clearly just tagged in Kairi Sane in full view of the referee, and he does absolutely nothing about it. Asuka is no longer legal, dumbass. Get Kairi in the match.
Pirate Princess.
Kairi Sane is the pirate princess of a pirate-themed WrestleMania. I can still remember a year ago when this was first announced. Fans wanted Kairi to win the Royal Rumble and get a singles title at this event. Even before COVID-19 hit the USA, fans had long forgotten about that.
Well, I actually hope that
Kyrie
will actually win the Rumble this year. It would have been the perfect opportunity to have a main event at Mania. Well, not really main event at Mania, but be part of a championship match in this year's Mania.
JBL
she did, but not like
clothesline
this.
from hell for saying that to him. I would have done it within seconds. Also, that one awkward moment when you can rarely hear the commentators over the yells of the wrestlers in the ring. Yikes. I'm sorry, but no, there is no way that tag from Alexa was legal. She is standing in the middle of the apron, away from her corner, and not hanging onto the tag rope. The referee allows an illegal tag, but ignored that legal tag from Asuka to Kairi when this match started. I can't even look when the wrestlers get fired up and turn in the direction of an audience that isn't there.
At least
It's
all that
understandable how we're not
changed
used
once
to
you
the
send
circumstances, but
Backlash
still.
and
Also, on the
in the
subject of
future
no
Extreme
audience, this was a
Rules.
huge missed opportunity to have R-Truth come out and announce the attendance of 70,000 little Jimmies in the Performance Center.
That's actually kind of hilarious.
Asuka and Kairi
That's
are
a good
annoying with
one.
their Japanese taunts, and it's working to full perfection. Fuck the people who constantly shout speak English.
Send Asuka flying, and now a kick right to the face.
That was clearly a knee to the face, you stupid dumbass. How can Michael not tell the difference between a kick and a knee?
Again, Asuka was yelling at the official. And Kairi.
Asuka tags herself in, the referee calls it, and yet somehow Kairi Sane is still legal in this part of the match. Asuka doesn't even move from her corner to enter the ring. Here's 5 sins.
Of course. Now we're getting more sin.
Clapping
Now
for
we're
a
getting to the
non-existent
game
crowd.
sin of this pay-per-view territory.
There's another
Oh,
3 cents because by the time
yeah,
Kairi broke
I
up the
actually
pin, the
remember
referee
that.
completed the 3 count.
That's
Twisted Bliss by
Twisted Bliss onto Kairi's legs was somehow enough to put her away. And also, wouldn't the legs cause Alexa to get the worst of it? I do
Yeah.
congratulate Alexa and Nikki for being the first team to win the women's tag team titles twice, but I don't remove a sin given the extremely poor lineage.
They think that's inevitable.
Sami Zayn is using the word inevitable more than Thanos. It's like his new favorite word or something.
the cage fighter.
Referring to Shayna Baszler as the cage fighter in a company that has cage matches on rare occasions per year is kind of a dumb nickname. What's so wrong with Queen of Spades? Unfortunately, King Corbin couldn't have his throne entrance due to social distancing laws. It's almost like you can see the disdain in his eyes.
yeah. And besides, having custom stages, custom
Except for
entrances in
Cash
this
Money
type of
Bank
arena
successfully
just feels a
and
lot more
Money
awkward
Balls.
and a waste of time.
Elias is nowhere to be found because he was playing the role of Mufasa in the latest live-action remake of The Lion King. I already like this version better than 2019's.
Yeah, of course.
Elias doesn't make it to the
Pre-match assault. JBL hasn't realized that this match doesn't technically exist yet. With nothing going on yet, what Elias did to the King is legal. Damn it, King, you landed too early from the swinging neck breaker. Only a minute into this match and it ain't looking good.
I was thinking about the. You never did that. I did do that. It just took me a couple days to do it.
JBL is absolutely hilarious on commentary.
Jeez.
Given the fact that there's no audience, it's amazing that King Corbin can't even hear what the commentators sitting so closely to the ring
Yeah.
are saying.
Jeez.
It's like the 4th or 5th time that someone has gone shoulder first into the ring post, yet somehow the LED lights are still operational with no glitches.
Yeah, what was the
What kind of
point of
random
having
clothesline was
those
that?
ring posters
Lord,
to
that was
begin
so
with,
bad.
since
Road
they were
cravings.
introduced in 2016? I just don't get it.
Victory by means of grasping the tights is always a sin. Doesn't matter if it's by a heel or face, or if it was payback for the bad guy attempting to cheat to win. Word of advice, never say that there is nobody who can match up to your abilities because one of those just may come along someday. We made such a big deal about Shayna Baszler attempting to eat Becky Lynch like a cannibal, yet it is never revisited again, nor does anything frightening come from it. What a waste. Even without an audience for a reaction, Becky Lynch never fails to put on a hell of an entrance. That truck was a nice addition.
I guess that is actually kind of an entrance.
Since this is the 5th consecutive year that Snickers has been the sponsor for WrestleMania, it might as well be a given without question. Oh yeah, and skip!
Jeez.
Ring
It would be
introductions
no
like this
surprise
with no
if
crowd is
Snickers
just
was the
pointless.
advertisement
The
for
only
next
reason
year's
the WWE
Mania.
does this is to get the reaction from the audience, which is a waste of time tonight. Becky reacted a little too late from Shayna's kick to her leg.
Now going to the top with a drop.
First it was King Corbin with his awkward landing from a clothesline, and now it's Shayna Baszler with an awkward landing from a missile dropkick. What's next, an awkward landing from an RKO?
Striker now again going for the disarm.
Throughout the many times Becky attempts to lock in the disarmer, both her and Shayna spin around so much, I'm tempted to sing Ring Around the Rosie.
I think they
or possibly
just
the
probably
Cindy Red
just
Out
want to
song.
avoid each
Shayna looks
other's
to lock in an
next
armbar, but
tactics or
proceeds to loosen
something.
up the pain for Becky by sitting up. That's honestly the dumbest thing you could do if you're trying to lock the hold in properly. Becky, right infringement.
Becky White infringement.
I'm removing another sin for Shayna Baszler's intense brutality. Really makes this match feel anticlimactic with Becky's roll-up escape, but even so.
Cover by Lynch. Cover.
We interrupt WrestleMania 36 to bring you NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 4. You'd think that Shayna would never fall for that trick again, but there you go. Also, given the absolute destruction Shayna portrayed in the Elimination Chamber last month, it really kills her momentum knowing she can easily be
It's like
defeated by a simple roll-up.
seriously.
Pretty much
I
anything
expecting
involving
her to
Rob
win this
Gronkowski, and the
match.
WWE is
I
trying
mean,
way
they're
too
making
hard to
Becky
promote
great, but
bigger
it's been a
stuff from other
year
sports. No
since
wonder
she
a
was
lot of their
champion
roster is
by the
pissed
time we
off.
reached to this year's WrestleMania.
Mainstays of WrestleMania.
And yet each year at WrestleMania in recent times, the Intercontinental Championship is usually added for a filler match or just because they want all titles defended.
Or probably just want to have
This match is
multiple
only 9
people be
minutes
part of
long, and Sami Zayn is
WrestleMania.
wasting a lot of that by
That's
staying in
what
the
I
corner
see.
or taking a breather outside the ring.
Up there,
Screw it, let's just add 5 sins. Sami Zayn is an absolute waste of a WrestleMania competitor. And that's what sucks about how he's being treated. He's got talent. Use it.
Yeah.
Drew
See,
Gulak waited a
seriously,
good
the
5
brand
minutes of this
split
match before he
is
realized that
just
Shinsuke
dying
Nakamura
this
and Cesaro were
oil.
going
It
to
was
be
the
a problem
original
for
brand
Daniel
split.
Bryan.
It took years
Begging
until
for
it
mercy.
faded
What has
away.
become of the once awesome Sami Zayn? Hard to believe what he was in NXT. Got your nose.
now Daniel Bryan.
Daniel Bryan making the mistake of turning his attention away from Sami Zayn just to take out Cesaro and Shinsuke, which ultimately cost him everything. Who does he think he is, Johnny Gargano?
Oh my god.
Obviously,
I
due to
can't
the
wait for you to
circumstances
talk
of
about
The
Johnny
Miz feeling sick and
Gargano
having to keep away from the
in your
action for the safety
house.
of the wrestlers, this is an unusual ladder match for the SmackDown Tag Team Championship. However, a triple threat with John Morrison, Kofi Kingston, and Jimmy Uso actually sounds like a kick-ass ladder match. And it was. Just goes to show that there are some blessings in disguise.
Yeah, thank the Lord that WWE found a solution for this. Oh!
Only 20 seconds into this match and it's already fun to watch. We haven't even gotten to the ladders yet. That was well done on the coordination and execution.
Definitely
John Morrison
one
is
of the best
representing as the
matches
SmackDown
of
Tag
this
Team
year so
Champion, yet
far.
he's the one who pulls out the first ladder introduced as too small to reach the prize cliche. Jimmy and Kofi had a better idea by bringing in the bigger ladders.
Drag him down now, back into the...
So funny to see John literally slide down the ladder as if he was on a slide at the playground. That looks like a fun ride. Let's do that again!
underneath the ladder.
Jimmy Uso didn't think to move the ladder a little to the side in either direction before throwing it at John Morrison. It was pretty clear that John would get through that unscathed.
Ooh.
Finally, John Morrison hits a Starship Pain that actually looked cool. It only took him all the attempts since he first started using it. There's your WrestleMania moment.
Yeah.
Morrison taking his time.
John is hardly in pain at all, and yet he takes a sweet-ass time climbing
Jeez,
each step
I
on
really
the
hate
ladder,
when
oblivious to the
wrestlers
fact
do
that there are
that
two
all the
other guys who
time.
would easily stop him in an instant. I hate it when they do that all the time.
Himself top rope. Wow.
Whoa, that is awesome.
Even if he almost failed,
Yeah.
that springboard into the Hurricane Runner from Kofi Kingston was an awesome moment of this match. Just goes to show that this event can have its good moments even without an audience present. One would think that we'd have no cliched moments during a crowdless show. But I guess it's not a ladder match without a bridge.
And now, oh my God!
There's a ladder bridge between the ring apron and the barricade with Jimmy Uso lying on it.
Yeah,
but
it's
let's
really
do this in the
disappointing
ring
that
instead.
he
Another
didn't do
possible epic
that.
moment was blown.
No, off the ladder.
Oh, off
I get that
screen.
the scene was probably edited from a different scene, but the fact that Jimmy is lying the other way from how he landed just made it worse.
Oh, headbutt Morrison.
Gotta admit, that was an awesome way for John Morrison to retain the tag team titles, hanging onto the straps while falling to his death on an awaiting ladder below. Awesome match, creative victory.
I am here to lead us into the future.
And yet, Seth Rollins has yet to lead any sort of future by this point. Not doing a good job, Mr. Atheist Messiah.
Yeah. That really sums up everything.
You will never be a god. Man, Snickers is gonna be pissed knowing Papa John's Pizza is trying to be a new contender for the WrestleMania sponsor. Based on the graphics,
oh, wait,
Seth
you're gonna
Rollins'
say
opponent's
also
name is
skip,
named
but you
Kate
didn't.
Owens-O. Wonder what the extra O stands for. Kevin Owens pauses in his entrance to gaze at the big WrestleMania sign, giving away that he has a plan to either leap off of it or throw Seth off of it. Don't end up giving Seth ideas, Kevin.
Under pressure, he is a god.
The only person who was ever a god while under pressure was Freddie Mercury, a status Seth Rollins will never get close to.
Kevin Owens' track record runs like this. Failure after failure.
I wouldn't necessarily refer to Kevin Owens' WrestleMania track record as a failure. Sure, he's only won once and lost all the others, but let's look at the facts. The two matches he lost were a ladder match and a tag team match, both of which he was not involved in the final decision. Coincidentally, he's undefeated in one-on-one matches, which carries on after tonight.
Oh, okay. I think,
Seth must have seen
like,
Sami Zayn's match earlier.
if you
and
get
figured he could
pinned
away
or
with
get
running
some
from his
minutes,
opponent to
you'll,
victory
if
also,
you don't
and
do
mission
that, any of
failed
that kind of stuff in a
miserably.
specific, in a
That's odd.
specific
I've never known
event,
of a god
you're
that
still
begs for mercy
undefeated.
from his opponent,
I
maybe
think that
except for
kind of
Loki. But
makes
even
kind
Seth
of a
cannot
lot of
match the
sense
greatest
because
that is
Edge
Tom Hiddleston.
flagged that he was still undefeated by facing the Undertaker at WrestleMania 2024.
Even before Seth started running to the other side of the ring, you can see Kevin watching him. I'm honestly surprised Kevin didn't sucker him in like I would've. Monologuing is a villain's greatest weakness. Strangely enough, the only thing I'm rethinking is coming back this early from my YouTube break. 4 months seems too early to me. But here we are. That was clearly a swanton.
Yeah, what is it people saying that swanton is a senton?
Boy, that's gotta bring back haunting memories for Seth when Kevin did his own version of the rope flip trick usually executed by Dean Ambrose.
I miss Dean Ambrose, but then again, John Moxley's
Look, I like
in
the stunner as much as the next
AEW.
fan, but the pop-up powerbomb looks like a more believable finisher for Kevin Owens. Now it's just being treated like an average move. Stupid. Man, when Seth Rollins goes from a guy who beat Brock Lesnar at last year's WrestleMania to getting himself intentionally disqualified at this year's WrestleMania, you know something has gone completely wrong.
Yeah.
Also, instead of having this match give a fake-out ending just to be restarted as a no disqualification match, why not just add that stipulation since the beginning?
You don't get to end this.
You know, given the fact that there's no fans in attendance and this part of the performance center is small, using a microphone seems a bit redundant. I'm sure Seth could easily hear Kevin without the usage of a microphone.
Seriously, the microphones are really pointless.
You see, without a microphone, Seth is literally at the same volume level as Kevin with the microphone.
Yeah.
As cool as Kevin Owens is, Seth is the guy holding the chair while you're on the ground. Calling him a bitch is either a brave move or a stupid move.
Assist for WrestleMania moment.
I'll give you an answer, Kevin. It was a fantastic
Yeah.
WrestleMania moment. You are 3 sins removed for that.
I'm the 24/7, 48/7.
R-Truth as the 24/7 champion at WrestleMania is absolute gold even when he hasn't done anything yet.
Come get it, I ain't running. Playboy.
Mojo Rawley tells Rob Gronkowski that he isn't going to run away as the 24/7 champion, then proceeds to do just that. It's one thing to hype up a match that's coming up later in the night, but this match between Brock Lesnar and Drew McIntyre isn't even happening until the very next night of WrestleMania, making the hype during tonight's event completely stupid. Also, literally 5 freaking minutes of talking about matches that aren't going to happen until the following night. It's like tonight's matches aren't worth anything.
But then again, this is
Paul Heyman
match.
accidentally hacked
This
up
is
Flair
night
in the middle of his
one,
introduction.
and the
Okay,
next
I have
night,
massive
then they have
respect for
another
Roman
night after
Reigns
this.
backing out of WrestleMania
So
due
this
to
is
his
a first for
vulnerability to
everything.
COVID-19. But they couldn't even come up with a storyline reason for why Braun Strowman is the guy facing Goldberg tonight for the Universal Championship. That deserves 5 sins for absolute laziness.
Well, the only good thing
that
is
was
that
some
Strowman is
poorly edited
finally a
shots.
Universal
Braun Strowman is clearly
Champion.
looking at the empty
Despite
wall
that
of the
his
performance
reign
center in
is
one shot, but is
pretty
suddenly looking at
boring
the
and
entrance ramp in the next
disappointing.
shot. He's teleporting more poorly than Matt Hardy did on AEW that one time. Haha, the cameraman ran into the wall.
He is a Hall of Famer.
And he can't even wrestle for longer than 3 minutes
Seriously,
at a time per
what is
match,
it with
only using 2
WWE
moves, and
still
somehow that's
doing
enough
this
to
kind
get
of
all the
stuff?
spotlights in the world.
I can understand Goldberg wrestling in
This is the only
2017 and
occasion where the
16, but
electricity for
heel,
this match feels
this
the
is
same
downright
as it would if there was a
ridiculous.
crowd involved. Absolutely nothing whatsoever. A big mistake. The fact that Goldberg is even attempting a jackhammer on someone like Braun Strowman after he tried the same thing to The Undertaker and nearly killed him.
2 minutes.
Even though this match was 2 minutes of stupidity, I'll remove a few sins because it's about freaking time that Braun Strowman won a world championship of any kind, especially on the grand stage of WrestleMania.
Finally, that's
Although
a
I'm
good
adding another
plus.
2 sins for 2 minutes of a wasted world title match
Yeah,
at
the
WrestleMania.
Universal
From this point
Championship
forward, let's
hasn't
not
gotten
jinx
any
WrestleMania
good
taking
matches
place
at
Hollywood next year,
WrestleMania.
or any event
And
taking
it's
place anywhere.
almost
We must
4
never
years
jinx any
old.
momentum because life is unpredictable.
This is just
Let's knock on
depressing.
wood, everyone.
Your wife is going to run you into the ground.
You gotta admit, this was the highlight of WrestleMania and the match that should have closed out freaking night 2. AJ Styles and The Undertaker stole the show in both the storyline hype and the match itself.
Oh, didn't actually notice that.
This Boneyard match being shot like it's an epic horror movie was the absolute best decision WWE made. When there's no audience to entertain live, creative possibilities are endless. Not to mention the brief return of The Undertaker's
I
theme from
think
the
that's
1990s.
pretty much explains onto why WWE has
Well,
been
somebody
making
obviously
so
watched
many
Bray Wyatt during the feud
film
with The
match
Undertaker 5 years ago.
themes since the pandemic started. This
Fucking
match,
finally, at long fucking last.
American Badass.
And of course, Metallica makes it even better. Fans beg for Limp Bizkit's Rollin', but I like the idea of using Metallica for the return of the American Badass.
Yeah, okay.
Get up, boy.
Jesus, we're in the negatives, and it doesn't look like we're getting out of the negatives anytime soon.
Hopefully,
The Undertaker's
we
verbal
should
taunts
keep
to
it that
AJ
way.
increases
If that'll
the
happen,
excitement
I
of the
hope
match.
that we actually get through another video
Get it?
without
Because AJ referred to
any
The Undertaker as
additional
Mark.
sense.
Also, since AJ has been referred to Undertaker by his real name, I guess now is a perfect time as any to say,
Oh, hi, Mark.
Jeez.
The
Oh my
Undertaker's addicted to
god.
caskets.
Ooh.
No better reaction to bleeding from your arm after whacking it through a window in a voice that says, "Now look what you made me do."
Nowhere else to go, son.
Well, technically, AJ Styles could simply jump off the hearse and he'd have more places to go. This line would only work if they were atop a high place and the fall would be catastrophic. Really? It didn't even register once to The Undertaker that AJ had a handful of grass and dirt ready to throw it in his face? I suppose in this case, Alan Jones is a dick to Mark's Calloway's. Ugh, that didn't sound good at all. I'm not doing that one again.
Yeah, just follow them as their wrestling names.
Whoever's in that car
I
in the
mean,
background
granted,
must be
this is
shot out of
not
their
The
mind to see AJ
Undertaker
Styles and
as the
Undertaker
Dead
fighting
Man,
in a
but
graveyard.
still.
Hey, dead man!
Where the hell have these assholes been the entire time AJ was getting his ass handed to him in the first 5 minutes? We interrupt WrestleMania 36 to bring you Ben Solo surrounded by his own Knights of Ren in Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker.
Jeez.
I was actually thinking Undertaker was going to pull out a lightsaber and shrug Ben Solo style. That would have been fucking hilarious.
But unfortunately, he needs Kane for that.
That's
If
strange.
that
Those
weapon
druids
is
outnumber
gonna
The Undertaker
work.
at least 6 to 7 to 1, and yet they charge one at a time while the rest stare and watch.
Of course.
Well, the shovel is actually no longer attached to the stick, so we're no longer using the shovel here. And with that so-called shovel, The Undertaker has buried Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson right out of the WWE.
You didn't say
You have
literally.
done that yourself!
I noticed that you didn't say literally in that sense.
I don't know if anybody else caught this, but I'm getting serious Joker vibes off that music in the background. Immediately reminded of Joker dancing in the bathroom. Really adds to the horror of this moment with The Undertaker supposedly showing his weak and old side. Made it almost hard to watch.
I'm gonna bury you.
Then just fucking do it already! Holy shit, and we're back to square one again.
Please.
Just when you think things couldn't get any better.
Please have this night be in negatives.
Instead
Please.
of countering away from The Undertaker while he's climbing the ladder, why doesn't AJ Styles just push the ladder over? That at least buys him some time. How about instead of begging The Undertaker not to bury you, you actually do something about it? Like, try to get out at least. It seems like AJ's given up at this point. And thus caused people to actually think AJ Styles had died, given the updated Wikipedia page. Not kidding.
Oh my god.
Man, that was the coolest way to end part 1 of WrestleMania. Crazy to think we're removing the only sins I got and starting off part 2
There's
of
no
WrestleMania sins
negatives
the
like
same way
the
part 1 began.
like the
That's never
invasion
been done
pay-per-view.
before on this franchise.
Oh well. So yeah, you're gonna see in part 2 this Wednesday, and I'm going to react to it. So that was part 1, and all I can say is that, well, despite me not liking the idea that this event was split into 2 parts, I still think that the first part of this event was, well, what it was. For it being the first time we're gonna witness pay-per-views behind closed doors because of the pandemic, it's honestly an experience that I never thought would have been actually serious. I mean, the thing is, I didn't know much about COVID-19 in March of this year, but as of now, and just looking at this right now, especially the pay-per-views that came out after that, Backlash, Money in the Bank, Extreme Wars, The Horror Show, I honestly think that WWE literally need to experiment with different ideas in order to have each pay-per-view be really different. I mean, last year we had matches galore, but without a single match recorded tape thing that they did in 2016 and 17. But this, they've been doing like 5 already, and I'm gotta say that as much as I do not like all of them, I can really see the point onto why Kristen said that with no audience, just entertain them with a match movie or whatever you call it. As much as I don't consider those as actual matches, I can understand that WWE is starting to make more of them, and I got a feeling that in SummerSlam they're gonna make at least one the same thing that they did in the last 3 or 4 pay-per-views. So that was part 1. You did really good in seeing this, and I'm sorry I didn't upload my video involving you sitting in the Elimination Chamber 2020. Then again, there was the audio problem, but still. So anyway, I'm gonna be reacting to part 2 this Wednesday, and I gotta say that part 2 is better than this part. But then again, with what they have, because this was still new to them, we really need to expect the unexpected when we watch this pay-per-view the first time. Anyway, I'm Lonely Fanboy 4 here, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.
coming hell.